Israel was retaliating for rockets that were fired by Hamas from Rafah earlier in the course of the day.
It's Monday, the 27th of May. Our main story, the Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza says 35 people have been killed and dozens injured in an explosion at a refugee camp near Rafah.
As UK Prime Minister, what would you be saying right now to Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu?
Stop. You know, Palestinians' lives have no value, even to people who claim to be civilized or leaders of civilized country. I mean, Gaza episode has taught me one thing, that never trust the tall claims on free speech, democracy, rule of law, civilized world from the leaders of the Western world. Absolutely do not trust them, because they are all hypocrites. And they are inherently racists. They are. 45 people have been brutally massacred. I mean, I can't even give you the graphic details of those who were killed, because we live in a world where every attempt is being made to suppress your voice. And we know at the behest of who. But then you don't have to be a rocket scientist to go on social media and see the kind of gory visuals coming from Rafa. You know, this influencer sums it up absolutely well.
There were just rumors of babies being beheaded by Hamas. No one saw pictures. These were just rumors, and the world went crazy. But there are photos and pictures of beheaded babies in Rafah. The beheaded babies should draw the line for us all. And if it hasn't drawn a line for you, you're cooked. You're cooked. I'm not crazy. You're crazy because you're not doing anything and you think this is normal. Me right now, this is normal behavior. Yeah, you're not acting normal. You can see that stuff and stay silent. You're crazy. You should lose your mind. In fact, if you're not going to lose your mind, I urge you, unfollow me and freaking block me, because you're a psychopath.
That the fake claims of 40 beheaded children of Israel had received global outrage, had received global media coverage, with every single media, including the New York Times, giving a front page coverage in no time. And we know that those were fake claims. Now, a baby has actually been beheaded in Rafah, and several more. And the visuals are there for everybody to see. And yet, we have seen the cautious approach shown by the likes of the BBC and Sky News and the rest of the media, rest of the Western media. We showed you the BBC footage from the breakfast show this morning. The BBC presenter saying that this was an explosion, as if like a gas cylinder had exploded inside a kitchen.
It's Monday, the 27th of May. Our main story, the Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza says 35 people have been killed and dozens injured in an explosion at a refugee camp near Rafa.
Can you ever see or gauge the limit of how disingenuous these people can be? Then you have Sky News presenter saying that Israel was merely retaliating the Hamas's strikes.
Israel was retaliating for rockets that were fired by Hamas from Rafah earlier in the course of the day.
And then what to talk about our political leadership? You have Rishi Sunak, who has shown time and again just how racist he can be, despite being a person of color, despite being a British Indian, a lineage that I unfortunately share with him. I mean, I'm proud of my lineage, but I'm not really proud that a person like Rishi Sunak also happens to be a person of Indian origin. That makes me ashamed. Has not tweeted once. I haven't seen it. Have you seen it? Not tweeted once, not commented once on the horrific episode of Rafah. Now just imagine if it was Israeli, if it was Hamas or Palestinians killing Israeli people. the guy would have stopped everything else. We know what happened on the 7th of October. He painted 10 Downing Street with Israeli flag. Now, where is his concern for 45 people? He's a father of children. You would expect him to be moved by those visuals. Have those visuals moved him? Doesn't look like. You have Keir Starmer, who, for a change, has asked Israel to stop it. And he said he was shocked by what he saw.
Look, 2 months from now, you might be Prime Minister, the man making those difficult calls. Well, overnight, there are reports of dozens of people killed or injured at a refugee camp in Rafah because of blasts which authorities in Gaza say are down to Israeli airstrikes. As UK Prime Minister, what would you be saying right now to Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu?
Stop. Those scenes, those reports are horrifying. And, you know, what makes it worse is that this was a safe zone with women and children in it and families that already fled a number of times. It is horrifying to see that. I've been saying for some time that the Rafah offensive should not take place. And what you saw there was the consequences, the inevitable consequences of that offensive. It should not take place. And we should join with our allies to ensure that it doesn't take place. There needs to be a ceasefire. It needs to be in place straight away. And that means to provide the space for hostages to come out, for humanitarian aid to desperately get in, and to provide a foot in the door for the process, the political process, that's the only long-term way through this, to a two-state solution, which includes in the process the recognition of Palestine as a viable state alongside a safe and secure Israel. So I'd be very clear about this. I was shocked by what I saw overnight. I think any human being would be shocked by what they saw overnight. It's got to stop.
No condemnation for Israel. And then the level of insensitivity, if you want to see from the Labour politicians, you only have to see the identical tweets that they have been posting. That's how insensitive they are. They can't even be bothered about writing their own tweets. So let's just copy paste it for ticking the box exercise. I mean, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres sums it up well when he says there is absolutely no safe place in Gaza. And he condemns Israeli actions. So does UNRWA. But what will it take for the global fraternity to make Israel a pariah state for its disregard to international law, for its disregard to International Court of Justice, for its utter disdain for United Nations? How can a tiny country with barely few millions of population can dictate terms around the world and literally blackmailing every other country in the world? It cannot go on. It cannot go on. Last night episode is an example, is the evidence that it cannot go on and it must not be allowed to go on. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.